Welcome to Premier League Gameweek 25 recap. To Arsenal scored a last-minute winner versus Bournemouth, Chelsea's winner streak came to an end against Leeds, Liverpool destroyed Man United 7-0 and much more shall be covered in this video. First off, Man City played Newcastle and beat them 2-0. The last time these two teams faced each other ended up being a thrilling 3-3 draw. However, the chances of this match being similar to the previous one seem low, as Newcastle have looked worse off lately with them losing their previous two matches and before that were having a lot of low-scoring draws. This match didn't get off to an ideal start for Newcastle, with Phil Foden terrorising their defence and firing the ball home to make it 1-0 to Man City 15 minutes in. Newcastle didn't give up easily though and carried on fighting. However, they were unable to score, and in the 67th minute, substitute Bernardo Silva, who'd only just come onto the pitch, struck the ball into the back of the net to make it 2-0 and seal the win for Man City. Arsenal faced Bournemouth and beat them 3-2. The start to this match was something nobody could have predicted, as just 9 seconds into the game, Philip Billings scored the second fastest goal in Premier League history to put the league leaders down by a goal against a team in 19th place. This stunned Arsenal, and although they dominated Bournemouth after this and had chance after chance, it was Bournemouth who scored the next goal in this match, with Senesi heading the ball in from a corner to make a 2-0 to Bournemouth in the 57th minute. This was a shocking scoreline. The chances of Bournemouth winning away the Emirates were slim, and yet here they were 2 goals up against the team top of the league. However, Arsenal won a title race and were determined to not slip up against Bournemouth, and just 5 minutes after Bournemouth made it 2-0, Thomas Partey scored to begin Arsenal's comeback. Reiss Nelson was substituted onto the pitch soon after this and had an instant impact, so the 23-year-old assisting Ben White for Arsenal's equaliser to help the team go from losing 2-0 to drawing 2-2 in just an 8-minute time span. Arsenal continued to attack and had numerous penalty shouts that should have been given denied, and because of these dodgy decisions, it seemed like a point was all Arsenal were getting from this match. But then, in the dying moments of the match, Arsenal awarded a corner, and with virtually the last kick of the game, Reiss Nelson scored a stunning goal to complete a sensational comeback, helping Arsenal pick up a vital 3 points in the title race, which could be the deciding factor in them winning the league for the first time in 19 years. Aston Villa were up against Crystal Palace and beat them 1-0. It looked like Crystal Palace was the team to break the deadlock in this match, with CazR getting the ball into the back of the net 7 minutes in. However, after a VAR check, this goal was ruled out for offside. 20 minutes later, however, another Crystal Palace player in Joachim Anderson got the ball into the back of the net. It's just a shame that this was in the back of his own net and Palace went a goal down. The first half was pretty poor showing for Crystal Palace, and it didn't seem like so much of a chance of making a comeback in the second half, and the slim chance they did have was virtually wiped away when Sheikh Doucouré was sent off the pitch for 2 yellow card offences in 5 minutes. This put Palace down to 10 men for the remaining half an hour, and although Villa weren't able to capitalise on an extra man advantage by scoring another goal, this didn't matter as Palace didn't pose much of a threat in front of goal, with them failing to register a single shot on target across the 90 minutes. Brighton came up against West Ham and defeated them 4-0. Brighton dominated this match from start to finish against a side who they themselves had won 4-0 the week before this, with the opening goal coming in the 80th minute for a McAllister penalty, with this being the Argentinians' first Premier League goal since winning the World Cup a few months ago. West Ham struggled to make their way back into the game, with the few chances they did have being pretty poor quality in comparison to the chances Brighton were getting, but despite this, the scoreline stayed at 1-0 going into half time. Brighton were much more ruthless in the second half though, Joao Veltman, Karim Matoma and Danny Welbeck all getting their names on the score sheet to wrap up the 3 points in convincing fashion. This win helped bolster Brighton's chances of getting European football for the first time in their club's history, and their performance was a testament to their quality, as not only did they put in a great attacking display, the defending was equally impressive, with West Ham being unable to take any shots in the second half. Chelsea faced Leeds and beat them 1-0. This was a must-win game for Chelsea boss Graham Potter, whose side was on a 3-game losing streak heading into this match, and as if they lost and continued the streak, chances are he wasn't going to be in the job for much longer. However, winning the match was a task easier said than done, as although Leeds have been even worse than Chelsea this season, with the threat of relegation looming over them, they were going to give it their all to get a result against Chelsea and had already beaten them once before at the start of the season. Both sides had a fair share of chances in this match, with Chelsea having the bulk of them in the first half and Leeds having the bulk of them in the second. However, Chelsea were the only one out of two to score from one of their chances, with Wesley Fofana jumping up and heading the ball in soon into the second half. Chelsea had a few big chances before and after this, which they weren't able to put away, but fortunately for them, Leeds weren't able to score any of their chances, and this Fofana goal ended up winning Chelsea the match. Wolves played Spurs and defeated them 1-0. Tottenham had the better chances out of two sides, however, they failed to score from these chances, with Pedro Porro and Heung-min Son both hitting the crossbar in this match. Being that close to scoring but missing would have been painful for Tottenham, and this pain would have been intensified late on when Adama Traore punished Spurs for their misses by winning the match falls with a sensational strike. This was a vital win for Wolves, as it's taken them 5 points above the relegation zone, but for Spurs, they're missing out on the 3 points has put a dent in the Champions League ambitions, as Liverpool are now just 3 points behind them with a game in hand. Southampton came up against Leicester and beat them 1-0. Southampton had a golden opportunity to take the lead in the 32nd minute when they were awarded a penalty. However, Ward-Prowse's shot from the spot was saved by Danny Ward to keep the scoreline level. Missing this penalty wasn't the end of the road for Southampton, however, as 3 minutes later, Carlos Alcaraz scored to give Southampton the lead against one of their relegation rivals. Leicester had numerous chances to equalise after this, but failed to get any of their shots on target, allowing Southampton to pick up a crucial 3 points, which has seen them rise out from bottom of the league, which is where they've been for weeks. Nottingham Forest up against Everton and drew 2-2. It didn't take long at all for the deadlock to be broken in this match, Damari Gray converting a penalty 10 minutes in. Forest responded quickly to this goal though, as just 9 minutes after this, the score was back to tail pegging due to Pickford parrying the ball towards Brennan Johnson, who scored on the rebound. Everton took the lead once again not long after this, however, with Decore heading the ball past Keylor Navas half an hour into this match to put Everton on course for the 3 points. This would have seen them move out of the relegation zone. However, with an hour still left to be played, a win against Forest was by no means guaranteed, and then towards the end of the match, Brennan Johnson made a brace for himself to salvage a point for his side. Liverpool faced Man United and beat one of their biggest rivals 7-0. This is a match that's going to be talked about for years to come, and it's by far the worst result United has ever had in the club's entire history, as we already have lost 7-0 a few times before. The last time was 91 years ago, and those losses weren't against one of their rivals. Now, Man United never usually do well against Liverpool at Anfield. If you want to find the last time they beat them at Anfield, you have to go all the way back to January of 2016. However, going into this match, it seemed like the chance of them getting a result was higher than it has been in the recent past. This is because Man United just won the Carabao Cup a week before this match and are having a pretty successful season, while Liverpool's season has been pretty disastrous for their standards. However, as is usually the case in the derby, form went out the window, and Liverpool put in one of the best performances of the season against the United sides who are on a winning streak. Now, surprisingly enough, the two teams were fairly evenly matched during the first half, and it wasn't until the end of the first half when Cody Gakpo scored Liverpool's only goal in the opening 45 minutes. Despite being a goal down, it still seemed like United could get somewhere in this match, but in the second half they capitulated and Liverpool took full advantage of this. Darwin Núñez, Cody Gakpo, Mohamed Salah and Roberto Firmino all scored in the second half, with David De Gea only managed to make one save this entire match. This was utterly embarrassing for United. With their recent trophy win, it seemed like they were on the up, and yet against a team who hadn't beaten them 2 hours of late, they collapsed and let in goal after goal, with Salah's 2 goals seeing him surpass Robbie Fowler as Liverpool's all-time leading Premier League goal scorer. Finally, Brentford played Fulham and defeated them 3-2. It was Ethan Pinnock who opened a score in the 6th minute of the game, with a shot deflecting off a Fulham defender and into the back of the net. This made a 1-1 Brentford, and the scoreline stayed this way for most of the first half. However, towards the end of the first half, Solomon scored for a 5th consecutive game across all competitions to level the game. It didn't take long for Brentford to regain a 1-goal advantage though. Soon in the second half, Ivan Toney scored a penalty to send Brentford in front against their West London rivals. Then, half an hour later, Jensen slotted the ball past keeper to make a 3-1 to Brentford, securing them the 3 points. Fulham managed to grab a last-minute consolation goal for Carlos Vinicius. However, this was too little too late, and Fulham came away from this match empty-handed, putting an end to the 7-game unbeaten run across all competitions, whilst Brentford's unbeaten run has been extended to 12 games over Premier League. Anyway, that's Premier League Gameweek 25 recap. If you made it this far, enjoy the video, be sure to leave a like, and subscribe if you haven't already, and more share, comment your opinions and in the matches having this game week. With that being said, have a good one guys. See ya.